We've seen more of each other doing press for the movie than we ever did actually making the movie.
Yeah.
When we started doing press for the movie, it was like, hey, I haven't seen you in so long, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I loved the first movie. I just thought the first movie was so great, and I loved playing Flint, and I loved the world and the kind of attitude of it, and so I was totally on board.
Yeah, I think I'm really proud to. I loved the first movie. It got such a great response. Adults loved it, kids loved it, and so it's really fun to be back for the second one. And I hope people will respond to it and love it just as much as we do. We got Bill Hader returning.
Anna Faris.
Flint Lockwood. We've got
Sam Sparks.
We've got James Caan.
Yeah, plays my dad, Tim. We got Andy Samberg back as
Baby Brent.
Baby Brent. Chicken Brent now.
Chicken Brent.
Earl was now being played by the fantastic Terry Crews. Manny being played by Benjamin Bratt. Well, we have Will Forte is playing Chester V, who's Flint's, mentor, hero. And then Kristen Shaw is very funny, is playing Barb. She's a meteorologist, and and in the first movie was trying very hard to kind of distinguish herself, and did, and got the big story in the first movie.
Got the big story.
She got the big story and kind of made a name for herself. And now in the second movie, she's kind of more of her and Flint are now, would you say, going together?
They're friends.
They're friends.
They're friends.
They're friends.
They're good friends.
They're good friends.
Yeah.
This movie takes place right after, like, a second after the first one ended. And Flint now, there's the food that fell in the first movie is now sentient. It's now moving and has its own mind. And so they're the foodimals. That's what it's usually.
Foodimals. We think that we've destroyed the Flamitificer. Turns out we may not have.
No.
So we're sort of thrown into this whole world that the Flamitificer has created, which is now sort of a planet.
But with food.
But with
monsters.
food. And there's foodimals and
creatures.
And so it's really fun, and what we've got to do is, once again, we are on a mission to destroy the Flamitificer.
Barry's kind of like the new, kind of sidekick. Like what I always feel like Steve is in this movie full bore, and Steve has great moments, but Barry's kind of the new.
Barry's like Rudy from The Cosby Show.
Yeah, he's like Rudy. There you go. That's a perfect way to describe Barry.
Barry's
like
adorable.
Rudy. Barry's adorable, and all you need is Barry to come in and do a little button on a scene, and everyone's like, "This is my new favorite show," and ask questions. But Barry is a strawberry that basically is helping Flint. It's kind of Barry's kind of the face of the island. You know what I mean? Barry kind of represents all the other foodimals and stuff. But Barry gets this thing called the BSUSB and takes off with it. And Flint needs that to take down the Flintstiffmiller. So he also is chasing Barry. The biggest difference is obviously you're alone and you don't have an actor to go to read with. In the first movie we read together one scene, I think. And this
Which we had to re-record.
Which we had to re-record separately. But yeah, we don't really see each other. Yeah, that's weird.
I think there's a lot of unique challenges. One of them being, of course, creating a character only using your voice. So it requires a lot more inflection and energy. There's also the creative elements, like, okay, right now, the directors will tell you right now, for instance, you're pulling on a piece of spaghetti, so make that noise. Okay, I guess something like that. Or like any kind of fall.
The efforts.
The efforts are really interesting, and I think that's where you can kind of get pretty creative too. I think it's a lot of fun. Bill Hader voices Flint Lockwood, and Flint is, he's a young man who's incredibly imaginative, and he's a genius. He's able to invent all kinds of different creations, including the Flibmidificer, which is the machine that creates food weather. And he's optimistic. He's a little bit naive. He's brilliant.